Hello again, everyone, and welcome to another edition of This Week in the World of Football. This is episode number 248 for June 14th, 2022, Flag Day. I'm your host, Randy Snow. On today's show, after an off-season of uncertainty, the CFL kicked off the 2022 regular season this past weekend, and with 1 week left in the USFL season, the playoff matchups are already set. In this week's history lesson, we tell the story of Nile Kinnick, the only Heisman Trophy winner to die while serving in the military. But I'm not here by myself. Across the table for me, as always, is my son Adam.
As we were talking about before we hit the record button, 2 weeks and we'll have episode 250.
Yeah.
Or more accurately, I will be at episode 250 and you will be stuck at 249. So
There it is.
Yep. Hey, seniority has its benefits, even on a podcast, everybody. What are you going to do to celebrate my 250th episode?
Gee, I don't know, son. What would you like?
I want a big old cake with a 250 and, 250 candles to blow out live on the show because, it's an audio podcast. Everybody wants to hear that. Wow, you're going to let me keep going.
Yeah,
okay,
just keep on talking, son.
You know what? I'll take Lions season tickets.
Oh, God.
Boy, what
How
else
about I just get us tickets to the USFL championship game in a couple weeks?
Wow. I mean, if you want to be a cheapskate about it, sure.
Hey, those tickets aren't cheap.
$20 a piece? Yeah, right.
No, they're 40.
Oh.
40 for the good ones.
Oh, we're going to get
And we're going to get the good ones.
Are we going to get the box seats?
The shrimp cocktail are going to flow like wine.
More clams, s'il vous plaît.
Clam me, bud. All right. We come to you each week from the World of Football Man Cave, located right here in the center of the football world, Kalamazoo, Michigan. We're here to promote the game of football in all its many forms, past, present, and future. Our goal is to educate, inform, and entertain our listeners with the glorious buffet that is the world of football, while keeping a close eye on the rich history of the game. Thanks for checking out our podcast. We'd love to get your feedback on one of our many platforms: Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Stitcher, TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and YouTube, where we post the entire audio portion of this show, as well as other selected videos. So, let's begin today's show with Adam and the World of Football scoreboard.
Oh, the scoreboard is extra stuff because, everybody, it is the return of the Canadian Football League's regular season, and we all couldn't be excited about it. I'm going to be honest with you, I forgot Thursday night when they played their first game. Totally went by my, past my radar because I was, what did I do? I went to the movies Thursday night. That's what it was. And then I had a vacation day the next day.
Right.
So I was really busy over the weekend. So I missed all the CFL action. But thank goodness we have my partner in crime to do all that research for us. Having the seniority I do, I don't have to do all this research.
I didn't watch the game either because I was scanning through our satellite dish, and it's supposed to be on all the different ESPN networks.
Right.
And I looked, and it wasn't on any. I knew it was going to be on
ESPN Plus,
like it was last year. And I just
didn't feel like
my laptop
firing
was
it
upstairs. I was downstairs. I didn't feel like. But I did check out a few highlights on my phone here and there. Checked in with the games, but for the most part, I really didn't watch a whole lot of it. But I'm very happy that the league is back.
Oh, we all
and
are.
I do plan to. Well, and of course the Toronto Argonauts were on by the first week,
Right.
so that's my favorite team. So just wasn't totally into it, but I'm so glad that the CFL is back for a full season this year, and can't wait to maybe go to a game in Toronto also this year.
We can only hope. But let's start with the scores. Thursday night, the Calgary Stampeders defeated the Montreal Alouettes 30-27, a real close game there. Rene Paredes kicked a 38-yard field goal with 33 seconds left to seal that one up for the Stampeders. Hey, good way to start your season, a nice close affair that comes down to the last 33 seconds of the game. What more could you want to open a season?
Yeah, I saw that highlight, and it just sounds like it was a pretty good game to go to. That one and the next game were very close this opening weekend.
Yeah, so that was Thursday night. Then Friday night, we had the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, the defending Grey Cup champions. The defending two-time Grey Cup champions.
That's right. Yeah, back to
defeat the Ottawa Redblacks by the score of 19-17. This was a close one as well.
Yeah.
And again, it came down to the kicker as kicker Mark Leggio connected on a 25-yard field goal with 6 seconds to play to get the win for the defending two-time champs. So 2 games in a row. Not a bad start to the CFL season. Very close games. And then Saturday's doubleheader, the Saskatchewan Roughriders cruised by the Hamilton Tiger Cats 30-13. Mm-hmm. And then on Saturday, the British Columbia Lions apparently had to wait for the Edmonton Elks to get off the bus because that final score ended up being 59-15 in favor of those Lions. The Lions just decimated the Elks.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that doesn't speak well for the Elks this year. Hopefully they can get past this and start winning some games. But boy,
they've had a rough couple of seasons. I mean, it has nothing to do with the name change. I mean, I like the new digs that the team's got. But yeah, they got some stuff to figure out there in Edmonton if they want to, be competitive this season.
I'm sure they'll get things turned around.
I'm sure. Usually it's so early in the CFL season. We've seen teams start off kind of rough and turn it around. So we'll see what happens.
But that's got to be demoralizing. Week 1 and you lose 59-15.
Yeah, and I believe what was it? You said that it was the most points scored in an opening game in CFL history for the regular season.
Yep, that came from Tim Capper. He threw that out there because he thought it was, but he wasn't positive, and he got confirmation of that from a league statistician that, yes, that was the most points ever scored in an opening weekend by a CFL team.
That's crazy.
Yep.
And then, of course, as Randy already mentioned, on bye this week, the Toronto Argonauts, and their first game will be next week, Thursday, against the Montreal Alouettes, which will be in Toronto. So on the lookout for that.
Yep.
All right, moving on. It was week 9 of the USFL season. We had doubleheaders on Saturday and Sunday. So on Saturday, the New Jersey Generals got by the Michigan Panthers 25-23. Another close loss for the Panthers.
I watched a little bit of this game because I saw it was on live, and I watched a little bit.
They threw another double pass for a touchdown.
Well, that I didn't catch, but while I was actually watching this game, Michigan was ahead. I think I watched them take the lead by a couple of points, and then I was surprised later on to find out that they actually lost this game. But that's been Michigan's MO all season long. Yeah. They play well, they keep it close, but somehow they just find a way to lose every week.
Sounds like the Lions. Yeah. Moving on, Saturday's second game of the doubleheader, the Houston Gamblers defeated the Birmingham Stallions. That's right, 17-15, giving the Stallions their first loss of the season. How about that, Houston?
So close to posting a perfect season.
Right. Way to ruin that for them.
Yep.
And then on Sunday, the New Orleans Breakers defeated the Tampa Bay Bandits 17-6. And with that win, it helped the Breakers earn the final playoff spot for the USFL playoffs in 2 weeks.
Yep.
And then the final game on Sunday, the Philadelphia Stars defeated the Pittsburgh Maulers 17-16, while Ramiz Ahmed kicked a 59-yard field goal for the Maulers. During that game, he also was the kicker who had the 61-yarder last week. So 3 straight weeks of a 60-yard field goal, a 61, now a 59.
Yep.
Hey, these two kickers, for Michigan and the
the 60-yarder was by the Panthers kicker.
Yep.
And
so the two worst teams in the league got the best kickers. So that's my takeaway from that.
Yeah, and then this guy Ahmed kicks 59 and a 61 in back-to-back weeks.
Right.
Wow.
So heck of a leg that dude's got.
Yep.
All right, and then looking at the standings going into the final week of the season, in the North, obviously we talked about the New Jersey Generals clinching a playoff spot, 8-1. Followed by the Philadelphia Stars clinching their spot 6-3. The Michigan Panthers and Pittsburgh Maulers 1-8 apiece going into that final week out of the playoffs.
Yep.
On the South side, the Birmingham Stallions with their first loss still hold the number 1 seed there in the South with an 8-1 record. Followed by the New Orleans Breakers at 6-3, who we said clinched. The Tampa Bay Bandits at 4-5, and then the Houston Gamblers at 2-7. Obviously, both eliminated.
Yeah, so that sets up the playoff matchups already.
Yeah.
We know that the playoffs in the first round in the North, it's going to be New Jersey versus Philadelphia, and in the South, it's going to be Birmingham and New Orleans.
Yep. So I'm not sure what the schedule is next week.
I'm
not sure there'll be any repeat games. If Birmingham's going to play New Orleans or how that's going to work. I don't have the schedule in front of me, but. Yeah. We'll see. We just got to go through one more week of meaningless games just to get to the postseason.
Yep.
All right. Have you bought those tickets yet for the championship?
Not yet. But I'm still thinking about it.
Uh-huh. Get on it. All right.
I've been busy.
Week 14 of the Indoor Football League. We had several games all on Saturday night. What do we got there? 7 games? 6 games.
6 games.
6 games on Saturday night, starting with the Vegas Nighthawks defeating the San Diego Strike Force 49-23. The defending champion Massachusetts Pirates defeat the Green Bay Blizzard 48-30. The Sioux Falls Storm got the win over the Bismarck Bucks 49-44 in a close game. The Frisco Fighters escaped the Duke City Gladiators 47-46. How about that? Isn't that a close game? The Northern Arizona Wranglers defeated the Arizona Rattlers 37-34 to be the first team to clinch a playoff spot this year. I definitely saw that, and that makes them the number 1 seed overall, and we'll talk about those standings in a little bit. And then the Tucson Sugar Skulls defeated the Bay Area Panthers 58-33. And then on bye this week, the Quad City Steamwheelers and Iowa Barnstormers. All right. So going to the IFL standings in the East, it's the Frisco Fighters at 10-2, followed by the Massachusetts Pirates at 8-4, the Sioux Falls Storm at 7-5, the Iowa Barnstormers at 6-5, Quad City Steamwheelers at 6-6, the Green Bay Blizzard at 5-8, and the Bismarck Bucks rounding out the East with a 3-10 record. Oh, and then the West. The Northern Arizona Wranglers sit at the top solely with a 10-2 record, followed by, and by the way, clinching that playoff spot as we mentioned. The Arizona Rattlers with a 9-3 record in second place. Then all the way in third place, the Tucson Sugar Skulls at 6-5. So we're back to having the Arizona teams dominating the top of the West.
All 3 Arizona teams.
The Duke City Gladiators at 6-6. The Vegas Nighthawks at 5-7, the San Diego Strike Force at 2-10, and the Bay Area Panthers at 1-11.
All right, let me continue here. The Champions Indoor Football, that was round 1 of the playoffs, and it was the number 3 Billings Outlaws defeating the number 6 Wyoming Mustangs by the score of 49-40. In the other game, it was the number 4 Omaha Beef defeating the number 5 Southwest Kansas Storm 27-21. Kind of a low-scoring affair there.
Yeah.
Not even 30 points for either team. So that sets up the semifinal round for next week, where the 2 teams that had byes are going to be hosting the winners from this week. So it's going to be the number 1 seeded Sioux City Bandits hosting the number 4 Omaha Beef, and the Salina Liberty will be hosting the number 3 Billings Outlaws. I was really happy that they had those scores right up there, and I didn't have to search around for them or anything.
We did get on top of it finally.
Well, with only 2 games of
that's
scores
what I'm saying.
to put
They
up
would have
there.
screwed that up.
Yeah, so I was happy about that. All right, so yeah, we got first round out of the way, and we're going to the semifinals in the CIF next week. Moving on to the National Arena League. This was week 8 for them. 1 game on Friday, 2 games on Saturday. In the Friday night contest, it was the Columbus Lions over the Carolina Cobras, 55-28. On Saturday, it was the Jacksonville Sharks over the Orlando Predators, 45-34. And finally on Saturday, it was the San Antonio Gunslingers defeating the Albany Empire, 59-56. And this was the first win of the season and in franchise history for the San Antonio Gunslingers. Good for them. That was a close game, too.
And over the number 2 team in the league.
Yeah.
I mean, dang.
Yep. So, yeah. They've been close a couple times.
Yeah. Oh, they've been real close.
Yep. But they just, like the Michigan Panthers, they just can't seem to secure a win at the end of the game. But they did this week, and good for them. So, looking at the National Arena League standings, the Carolina Cobras are at 6-2, the Albany Empire at 4-3, Jacksonville Sharks at 4-4, Columbus Lions at 3-3, Orlando Predators at 3-4, and the San Antonio Gunslingers improved to 1-5. And one other score of note: last week was the first weekend of the X League, which is the rebranding of the former Legends Football League or the Lingerie Football League. They only had 1 game that weekend, but it was the Chicago Blitz, stealing that name from the old USFL, over the Kansas City Force 40-34 in overtime. I don't know if we're going to cover their scores every week, but this was the first week. They only had 1 game, so I thought I would throw them in there. So the X League is back running also this year. They've been off for a couple of years, I think, since 2019. And that is it for this week's World of Football scoreboard. So let's get into some NFL news here. The first item here is Rams wide receiver Cooper Kupp signs a 3-year contract extension worth up to $80 million, and he's going to be with the Rams now through 2026. Well-deserved. I mean, who better than the Super Bowl MVP, the guy that won the Triple Crown last year, set all kinds of records to get that contract extension. He basically deserves it. I mean, there's a lot of people that maybe deserve a contract extension for having good seasons, but if he didn't get some kind of reward for last season, that would have been a travesty.
Cooper Kupp has been an amazing, wide receiver the last couple of seasons. I think having Matthew Stafford, not as opposed to Jared Goff, because I think Jared Goff still, obviously Kupp still performed, but I think having Matthew Stafford opened up a lot of different opportunities for Kupp.
Yep.
Just a different set of skills. But, Kupp was amazing, and I'm not taking away from his contract. My only critique with this is, how in the heck are the Rams getting away with this? I mean, seriously, all the money they've been throwing at Aaron Donald, Matthew Stafford, Jalen Ramsey. Just those 4 guys alone, it should cost an entire franchise.
Yeah.
And somehow, I don't know what kind of cap magic they're working. Does the cap even exist?
In Los Angeles?
I think the NFL, they need to tighten down on some of these cap restrictions because they're doing a lot of this, maneuvering and magic with the salary cap. That's why I'm always so fascinated when we talk about salary cap stuff, because there's something there. There's some sort of magic that's being done, throwing money down the road to get away with a lot of this stuff. So
money they're never going to pay out.
Money that may never pay out. It's a fun number to look at, but boy, it's just I get a little iffy at some of these because I'm like, how is a team getting away with this? That it always translates to win. Look at the Dallas Cowboys. They've done this for years, it seems like, and they haven't had a Super Bowl to show for it.
Well, this sort of thing is a short-term process, because when you throw that much money at this few players in a short amount of time, it's going to be bad for the team in the long run. But I think they're just looking at, they signed Stafford last year because they knew that he would probably lead them to a Super Bowl, and he did. So now they're keeping the core in place, hoping to get back-to-back Super Bowls.
I think their plan is at least 3 or 4 years of dominance.
Right.
And I know
then it's all going to fall apart.
It could all fall apart, or who knows? Maybe with this salary cap manipulation, once they get to the end of those, maybe they can. Oh, we don't have to pay any of this, and then start for it's going to be crazy how and if they get away with this, or will we actually see the terrible Mount Vesuvius type results at the end of the tunnel? That is what I'm curious about, because this could all come crashing down in a fiery, burning hellscape, before we know it. And I want to kind of see it, because who doesn't like a great, seeing a car accident? Everybody stops and stares. But with this, I gotta know: does this salary cap maneuvering eventually make it so that when we get to that point in 4 or 5 years, are the Rams just going to be one of the worst teams ever? They're not going to be able to sign anybody. They're going to have to go back to drafting players. They don't draft players.
They don't have any draft picks for a couple of years. Detroit's got all their draft picks for
a couple of
their
draft picks. So, we'll see what happens with the Rams. I'm flabbergasted at how they've gotten away with some of this, and why are there not more teams doing this? Otherwise, you would feel like we'd be seeing these big contracts left and right, and it does feel like we see some guys, but I don't know. It's just crazy to me.
Well, I keep going back to the fact that several years ago, the Lions had 80% of their team salary going to Matthew Stafford and Ndamukong Suh and Calvin Johnson. Those 3 made up 80%. So all the rest of the people on the team were making bare minimum almost. So
how many Super Bowls did the Lions have to show for it?
That just doesn't work.
Technically, just 2, because Suh and Stafford both got Super Bowl rings at some point. So.
But this is, like I said, a short-term fix. They're just trying to keep the team together, maybe get 1 or 2 more Super Bowl wins in their history, and then they're going to be in a whole new rebuilding process, probably after Stafford's retired.
Comes back to Detroit.
Yeah. As a coach.
He'll
quarterback coach.
He'll sign that 1-day contract with Detroit, and I'll be so happy.
Yeah, but I probably will.
I hope so.
Yeah, remember years ago when Eddie Murray did that?
No, I don't.
He came back and he signed a 1-day contract to retire as a Detroit Lion. Then he went out and signed with another team and played 3 or 4 more years in the NFL.
Oh, great.
Yeah. Okay. Moving on here. The Denver Broncos have been sold for $4.65 billion.
No longer speculation like we had last week.
Yeah, well, last week we were saying it was going to be $4.5 million, and it was just
B. Don't forget the B.
Billion, yeah. So we didn't know for sure, and then it came out that yes, it's basically a done deal now. So the new ownership group consists of Walmart heir Bob Walton, his daughter Carrie Walton Penner, her husband Greg Penner, and a lady by the name of Melody Hobson, who's the chairman of the board of Starbucks Corporation and a director at J.P. Morgan Chase Financial Company. So these people know about money.
They know business.
They know how to handle their money. So the Broncos are now the 5th most valuable franchise in the NFL, behind the Dallas Cowboys at $6.5 billion, the New England Patriots at a mere $5 billion, the New York Giants at $4.85 billion, and the Los Angeles Rams at $4.8 billion.
Yeah, like I always look forward to that list every year when we talk about the most valuable franchise. And now to see the Denver Broncos, I'd love to know what they were last year. You got to pull that out so we can compare it.
I'd have to go back and see.
Either that or go back and listen to it and write down some of those takeaways.
I don't remember what.
Or hurry and look it up now, and then we'll have it ready for next week's show.
Yeah, well, we'll see.
Or whenever they come out with that list. Because I'm so curious where they jump up. Maybe you should start keeping a spreadsheet of that because I don't know how big of a jump this is, but I would say they had to have gone from at least the double digits. Like they were in the 10s, maybe 15.
Yeah, I'm sure they jumped right up there.
So I'm very curious about that. But hey, congratulations, Denver. You got solid ownership, it sounds like. And that's all we want as fans of a team. Just give me solid ownership that's not going to, run it into the ground like the Ford family might have. But no, hey, Sheila, I'm giving you the benefit of the doubt. Sheila, I think, is really trying to turn things around.
What didn't you see? I don't know if you heard this or not, but Dan Campbell was quoted as saying he wishes she would be more involved in some of the decisions. He said, she's done real well about not meddling with the coaches and this and that, but he almost says, I kind of wish she would make a few more inputs from time to time because she's got some good ideas and. So he's calling for his owner to be more meddling. My God, why don't you just go to the Cowboys and work there for a while and see? If
I think there's a fine
feel
line,
that same way,
and I'm sure the way Sheila's been running things, we'll figure it out. But we're not talking about Sheila today. But let's move on. Okay. Sheila, another time we will talk about her.
Okay. Let's see. Drew Brees will not be returning to NBC this season.
We knew that.
He's not sure what he's going to be doing next. But former Cowboy coach Jason Garrett is going to replace Brees at NBC. Now, Drew Brees was not only doing NFL games. I don't know if he was on the Thursday night or
he was doing the Sunday night stuff.
But he was also doing Notre Dame games on Saturday. So I guess he's not going to be doing those either. And it just seems weird that he's calling it quits after 1 year. Now, there was talk a few weeks ago that he was going to go back to playing for the New Orleans Saints, after being off for a year and doing the whole in the booth thing. But he doesn't know what he's going to do next. So it'll be interesting to see what he does do.
Yeah.
Is he going to land with another network, or
I don't know. From what I heard, people aren't happy with his turn as a broadcaster. So who knows if I think I read somewhere somebody said he's got one shot left, and if he screws it up, nobody's going to want to have him as which I think is weird. I mean, it's Drew Brees. I don't know if we talked about this before, but it's just crazy to me. I mean, I respect the heck out of Drew Brees as a player and some of his insight. I'm not going to sit here and critique 1 year of him being in the broadcast booth. It takes years to mold into a great broadcast.
Nobody's good right off the bat.
Except for
I don't know.
Every once in a great while, you'll get your Tony Romos who just all of a sudden come out of left field and just blow you away. Or Peyton Manning and Eli just with their Manning cast. Like, who would have thought that?
Well, the first couple of ones weren't that good. But, over the course of the season, they got it worked out.
To figure out what that shtick was. Because that's not exactly what like Drew Brees would be doing. Like the actual general, just typical play-by-play like a Tony Romo would do. I think like Tony Romo kind of had his own unique flair at first, and it kind of caught on with him predicting plays and stuff. And I'd say he's an adequate broadcaster. Now he's definitely a top 2 or 3 pairing when it comes to the broadcasting team I'd want to hear. I mean,
well, it just goes to show you that you might be a great player. You can win all the Super Bowls. Tom Brady's supposed to go to the booth the minute he retires. There's no guarantee that Brady's going to be any good at it.
I could probably say he's going to be great at it.
I don't know.
Tom Brady
never can tell.
It is hard to tell, but I think it's easier to tell when certain people have not social media presence, because Tom's got that. I've never thought of Drew Brees as a social media presence, but Tom Brady has always kind of been that quick-witted. Got his social. I don't know if it's his social media team or what, but he's always like he even put something up today. I forget what it is, but I saw that and I was like, how does Tom Brady do this? Time in and time out, just like these quick witticisms out on. I think it was a video of him. I don't know if he was golfing or what, but they did the 360 camera under his hat, and he called it the Peyton vision because it made his forehead look huge. So Tom Brady's got it.
Well, his wife.
I would be more surprised if he failed. If he was bad at it.
His wife is a supermodel, so of course she's well versed in the art of Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
He probably learned a lot from her social media teams.
She's probably right back there working on his stuff and getting him to look better on social media.
It's taken him years. I mean, look, he's built TB12. I think he's become a decent businessman, and then I think over the last few years he's become more of, and I think especially getting out of New England, he's become more of a social media like icon. Like everybody already know who Tom Brady was. He was the greatest quarterback of all time. Then he goes to Tampa Bay, and I think that's just kind of opened up his. I can be me now. Like I'm not stifled in this culture in New England. Not that it's terrible being there, but it's. It's a little harder to be yourself there because you're so focused, as part of that organization.
He and Belichick were both alpha personalities, and they just kind of clashed. And now he doesn't need to fight his coach.
He already got his coach fired or got his coach sat down. Yeah. So who knows? But hey, I think Tom Brady will be fine. But again, the story's not about Tom Brady.
Yeah.
All right, let's bring the tangent back.
Going back to my point, just because you're a good player and you've been around the game for a long time doesn't mean you're going to be good in the booth. You have to learn that.
So good luck to Jason Garrett. I think Garrett is an interesting football personality. I'm not going to say he's my first choice, but maybe he'll bring something to it, or maybe he'll just bring you the right amount of insight that we need. Like, not going to take it too far, but he's not going to just be a wet blanket. I think he'll have a little bit of personality. And being a Dallas Cowboys head coach, I don't know if that helps or not, but that seems to be a good trend. If you were a Dallas Cowboys coach or player, there's something about that atmosphere that really lends to pushing you into a booth.
I would like to see Garrett do a Cowboys game. How is he going to be when he's doing a Cowboys game?
That'll be interesting.
That should be very interesting.
Think of it between, was it not Greg Olsen? Because Greg Olsen was a tight end with. Didn't Jason Witten do a little bit in the booth?
Yes,
Cowboys
for a year.
There
then
you go.
Then he went back
in the
to
booth.
Football.
Michael Irvin out on doing NFL stuff, NFL Network stuff. Deion Sanders at one point.
Yep.
Troy Aikman still doing it.
Yep.
Tony Romo out there doing it.
Yep.
Now you're gonna have Jason Garrett out there doing it. Jimmy Johnson's been doing it. There's something about that Cowboys culture, all those alpha personalities they bring in. I don't know what it is that helps translate to being great on camera. Maybe it's the starlight that Jerry Jones was pushing on all of them.
Yeah, they all look at him and go, "Oh, so that's how I do it." Okay.
Or not to do it. So maybe Jason Garrett will surprise us, and maybe he'll be a great fit. So good luck to him.
We shall see. Yeah, good luck. All right, Detroit Lions defensive lineman John Penicini has retired from football after just 2 seasons due to some issues with his shoulders. They said he had calcium deposits on his shoulders, and one thing I read said they were the size of softballs.
Wow.
That much calcium buildup, and so he's decided to call it a career, and he played junior college at our favorite community college, Snow Community College in Utah, and then he went on to play at the University of Utah. He was a 6th-round pick in 2020 by the Lions. He played in 32 games and started 12 of them for Detroit. So I was sorry to see him retire, but, a man's health comes first. And
anybody's health should come before your sport or your job.
Yep.
So I think kudos to him, being a 25-year-old and having to come with that decision. Like, I love the game of football, but my health means so much, and I just got to step away from it. So that's tough, and it's commendable. And I can't, you might get some of the super hardcore fans who are like, oh, he gave up. You could play through that, or you could get a surgery and deal with that. Like, how tough are you? Nah, man. Like, I think we're finally in an age where like that kind of mentality has really, really been knocked out of, I think, the sports fandom mindset. But hey, when I saw this, I was a little shocked.
Right.
But
it came out of nowhere.
But hey, dude's got to do what he's got to do. I commend him, and as a Lions fan, we thank you for 2 seasons, and I wish nothing for the best for the dude. And I hope maybe the Lions find a way to keep him as part of the organization, whether it be just like, I don't know what kind of degree he had in college.
Yeah, I don't
but
know.
I'd love to see him stay somehow connected to the team. And if that's not something he wants, and I hope he, good luck with whatever endeavors he goes to next.
Yeah, well, he'll just start his coaching career a little bit early. Maybe he can go down and become the head coach at Snow Community College in Ephraim, Utah, and start out there and work his way up to other college teams and maybe an NFL assistant job there somewhere. Who knows? But good luck.
Yeah.
I think you're making the right decision. When you're deciding on your health, that's not ever the wrong. It's always the right decision. It's not wrong. Okay, NFL Network is going to air 22 preseason games live this preseason, including the game between the Atlanta Falcons and the Detroit Lions.
Oh, yeah, single out our team.
Yeah.
Great, now everybody gets to see our crappy preseason.
Preseason means nothing.
It does mean nothing, but, man,
I really enjoyed going to preseason games when I discovered going to a preseason game because I didn't care if they won or not. It didn't matter. I was just there to see some new players. Check out this new wide receiver we just drafted, or this lineman. How they going to do? And so you're looking at the game differently when you go to a preseason game.
Oh yeah, you look at it very differently. Me especially, because I just see this is just crap football. This game don't mean nothing. Some of these guys aren't even trying. I'll give it to some of the second, third, or fourth stringers who are trying to make it on the team.
They
and
play
especially
really hard.
this year with the Lions being on Hard Knocks. Maybe I'll care a little bit more about our preseason, but it's just, I think over the years I've cared less and less. You used to take us to preseason games, and
Been to a few.
And I think maybe at the time I was like, oh yeah, I like going to these, but now I'm more like, I never want to go to a preseason game. I don't want to waste my money on a game that means nothing in terms of standings or where the team's going.
But for years I would go to a Lions game and I would drive home totally upset, miserable, depressed because they lost.
You're gonna do that
after
for
a
the rest of your
preseason
life.
game. Hey, we lost by 50 points in the preseason. Oh well. Hey, do we want to stop for pizza at Buddy's Pizza on the way home?
Now
Sure,
hold
let's
on.
do that.
I've seen you get very upset after a preseason game.
Oh,
coming
come on.
home from, or actually going back to the hotel after an Indianapolis Lions preseason game down in Indianapolis, mind you, getting lost at night on all those highways.
Well, yeah, that was.
I don't think the loss helped it at all. And the fact that they
The
had a
loss had
Beatles,
nothing to do
and
with
the
it.
fact that they had a Beatles light show
I got-
after the game didn't
I
help
got-
you either.
I got lost, and those were back in the days before GPS, so I had no way of finding my way around.
Your GPS was your 8-year-old son and your
Yeah.
5-year-old daughter.
Well,
just
she was
sitting there.
asleep in the back seat. She didn't know what was going on, but oh man, I was seriously lost, and I could not find my way back to the hotel in the dark. All right, let's see what it's. Oh, last item here on the NFL: Little Caesars has now been officially announced as the official pizza of the NFL, replacing Pizza Hut. You sent me that, so I knew you wanted to add that to the rundown.
I did. I
I
have no
prefer
real,
Little Caesars to Pizza
I know
Hut
you
myself.
do. Of the two, I mean, I only think of Little Caesars now is connected to, they sponsored the new Red Wings Pistons arena over in
Right,
Detroit.
right.
It's a Are they Michigan based?
Their headquarters is in Detroit. That's where they got their start.
So
at.
that's something else that I was like, that's kind of interesting because they're Michigan based.
They're going to have a big presence during the NFL draft, I'll bet you.
Oh boy! Oh,
Because
now
of-
for sure.
Because of being
I
the
swear to
official
God, if
pizza.
we go and there is not a Little Caesars pizza cannon or some sort of like thing where they drop pizza slices out of the sky, I will be very upset.
I'm
But
sure
they got a couple years to figure that out. I don't care. Just shoot a piece of pizza at my face. But I don't know. I definitely, in terms of quality, I think this is a step back.
Well,
But hey, whatever.
Pizza Hut's been there for a long time. I mean,
Pizza
you always,
Hut has.
Pizza
I always
Hut
liked, every
commercials.
once in a while going to Pizza Hut and getting those cool NFL boxes.
Yep.
But hey, Little Caesars has done some cool promotions with their food. Like they did The Batman, the movie that came out in March. They did like a special The Batman pizza. They did, it's nice. It was a really cool pizza box with the Batman incorporated into it. I don't think I saved a box, but you saw the box. It was pretty cool.
Yeah. Well, from that little article that you sent me about this, it did not say how much they paid for the rights to be the official
Oh,
pizza.
it has to be ungodly.
Wasn't Papa John's the official pizza for a while or two?
They think they were for a couple years, and then it went to Pizza Hut, and now it's
Little Caesars.
yeah. I mean, hey, I'm sorry,
Everybody
I'm not
gets a chance.
I'm not the pizza sponsor of history person for the NFL. I'm sure there's a guy out there who keeps track of that stuff.
Oh, sure.
But it's not me. All I know is I think Little Caesars, in terms of quality, is a bit of a step down from Pizza Hut. Not that Pizza Hut was all that high a bar anyway. I'm sure everybody's got a local establishment that is superior, like how we got Urbelli's, which I think is the superior pizza place in the state. But that's just me. But I know you would pick a Buddy's Pizza or something along those lines.
Maybe. We used to stop at a Buddy's Pizza, which is a
They do
Detroit-based
yeah.
pizza chain. And we'd stop there at one in Dearborn on the way home. I remember one time we went to a game at Ford Field, and I got us 3 hot dogs and 3 Cokes, and it cost us $30.
Yep.
$10 each for a drink or whatever.
Typical for a football game.
Right. And so on our way home, we stopped at a Buddy's Pizza, and we got a big pizza and 3 drinks for like $17.
Yep. Yep. Thank you, Buddy's Pizza.
But Buddy's was the best. And now we've got one right here in Kalamazoo.
And you don't even go to
And
it.
we've never got to
I've gone to it more than you have. Gosh.
We used to go to Sonic and Fort Wayne and other places, and now we've got one here in Kalamazoo, and I hardly ever go there.
know
I mean,
what?
I do, but it's not
Do you
like,
want to get pizza after this?
I don't know. Little Caesars and
No.
Sonic.
Heck no. We just talk about Buddies. What are you talking about?
Buddy's Pizza. I got stuff cooking in the oven, so
Oh
don't
my
worry about it.
gosh.
But maybe one of these days we'll we'll get. Of course, the Buddy's Pizza here in town started during the pandemic, so it was like takeout only.
Yeah, I've only gone there. Let's say I think I've sat in the Buddy's Pizza twice. I've definitely gotten pickup there for a couple of additional times. So.
Okay, well, let's wrap up pizza talk for this week and move on to something about the CFL. We already mentioned this. The CFL is going to be on the ESPN family of networks all year long. The ESPN is going to be carrying all 86 CFL games this season, including the playoffs and the Grey Cup. So we're talking ESPN News, ESPN2, ESPN Plus, of course. And like I said, Thursday and Friday night, I was looking for some CFL games. I think I looked even Saturday, and I didn't see them on regular TV. It seems like a lot of times when the season first starts, here it is, mid-June, you can find CFL games all the time because there's not that much going on sports-wise. Other than the NBA and the NHL,
right.
but they'll fit in CFL games. But I was just surprised that this first weekend they weren't on actual television.
Yeah, a little.
But they're always going to be on ESPN.
Yeah. They got all 4 games for this weekend already lined up on. I'm looking at the ESPN Plus app. You can even go back and watch some of the games on demand. So.
Well, they do a great job of putting together like a 5 to 8 minute highlight segment for every game.
The CFL does, but
yes.
But ESPN, you can go back and watch the full broadcast of all 4 of last week's games on ESPN Plus. So if you miss a game this season, you can go back because they got that thriller we talked about between the Montreal and Calgary. The nail biter between the Red Blacks and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, and even the blowout between the Lions and the Elks. So all of those games they're all around 3 hours.
It's so hard to watch a game after it's been played,
especially
when you know the score.
Unless it's a great game.
Yeah, but even so, to sit through a whole game.
How many times? Hold on. We've literally sat through the Lions' first win of the season 3 times this year. Yeah, it was okay. Maybe you didn't.
Game.
I did. I watched most of that game with Aaron.
Yeah.
They had the Lions Vikings game on the NFL Network,
okay.
and we rewatched. So I'm sure there's other fans out there who definitely love to go back and rewatch a game, especially if it's a team you love, and especially if it's just a crazy stinking game where all those twists and turns, and it's fun to kind of, I think, watch it a second time because then you kind of could see where the tide's turning. You're like, oh, okay, here's the momentum, and then
this is where it all.
And
changed.
then maybe in the moment you kind of felt the air, but I think it's more so the second time. Like, oh, there it is. That was the dagger right there. They don't even know it yet that this is going to hurt them.
If that guy had just made that catch, it'd be a different ballgame right now.
So I mean, I think the actual football players watch these games many times over, or break down all this film. So, yeah. All right.
Okay. Well, that's all I had for the CFL this week. Let's see. Arena Football TV on YouTube. They posted a game from 2000. The Nashville Cats at the Orlando Predators. Eli Gold and Jill Arrington were on the call. Orlando head coach was Jay Gruden. And within the first few minutes, because I always watch the first few minutes, and they'll have a little intro talking about, tonight's game, we're going to feature this and this, and blah, blah, blah. And then they'll go to a commercial. And what did they have this week? John Madden, tough actin' to Nacton.
Classic.
Commercial.
Classic.
Oh, my gosh. Those were so good.
Yep. And foreshadowing to the eventual Arena Bowl that season between the Cats and the Predators.
Yeah. So check out those games too. I mean, those are the kind of games that I will sit through again because they're so fast paced, so much action, and of course, you get to see people like Eli Gold. That to me, he's still the gold standard of announcers for the Arena Football League, and Jill Arrington was such a professional doing the sideline reporting, and seeing people like Jay Gruden as the head coach of a team, that sort of thing. Of course, we were more into the league than other people, but. If you want to learn more about the Arena Football League and how great it was, just check out Arena Football TV on YouTube. You will not be disappointed.
Yep.
All right.
TNN always was my favorite of the broadcast.
Yeah, TNN had a lot of games.
All these big ones. Once NBC got them or if ESPN had them, it just was never the same. It didn't feel cared for as much as TNN would. And
when NFL Network got them, those were terrible broadcasts.
Yeah.
They couldn't wait for those games to be over so they could go back to other crappy programming that they had, and I was very disappointed with how the NFL treated the Arena Football League as far as broadcasting goes. Okay, today's birthday, June 14th, defensive end Ben Davidson, born on this date in 1940. He died in 2012 at the age of 72. He he played college football at the University of Washington, and he was selected in the 4th round of the 1961 NFL Draft by the New York Giants. But he was traded to the Packers during training camp, so he played for the Green Bay Packers in 1961. He was with the Washington Redskins in 62 and 63, and most famously He was with the Oakland Raiders from 64 to 71. He won an NFL championship with the Packers in his rookie season in 1961, and he won an AFL championship with the Raiders in 1967, and also lost to the Packers in Super Bowl II with the Raiders. He went on to appear in many TV shows, movies, and light beer commercials. I don't know, you'd probably know him if you saw him. He was a big, tall guy. He had this really cool handlebar mustache. He had a voice like this. Very distinctive voice, but he was great in those commercials, and like I said, did a lot of TV and movie acting, too. I think he was in the one of the Conan the Barbarian movies with Arnold Schwarzenegger, among others. So, Ben Davidson, born on this date, June 14th. All right, we do have 3 obituaries this week. This is where we take a moment and honor those who've made the world of football a better place. The first obituary is that of Rocky Freitas, a tackle in the NFL for 11 seasons. He has died at the age of 76. Freitas played college football at Oregon State and was selected in the 3rd round of the 1967 NFL Draft by the Pittsburgh Steelers. However, he did not play for the Steelers. Instead, he signed with the Detroit Lions in 1968 and played in Detroit for 10 seasons through 1977. He finished his playing career with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in 1978. After football, Freitas returned to his home state of Hawaii, where he was the chancellor at Hawaii Community College for 6 years. He was also an administrator at the University of Hawaii for 23 years, as well as the school's athletic director in 2012. His full name was Rockne Crowningberg Freitas. Rocky was a nickname, but
that's a mouthful.
I remember watching him play. Like I said, I started watching the Lions in 75, so from 75 to 77, he was a tackle, keeping Greg Landry up so that he could throw those passes. So, I do remember Rocky Freitas.
All right, and our second obituary is that of Don Perkins, a fullback in the NFL for 8 seasons, has passed away at the age of 84. Perkins played college football at New Mexico and was selected in the 9th round of the 1960 NFL Draft by the Baltimore Colts. However, the Dallas Cowboys entered the NFL Draft after the 1960 draft took place, and they also signed Perkins to a personal services contract for $10,000. The league honored the contract by making terrible writing here.
I know.
By making Dallas give the Colts their 9th round pick in the 1962 NFL Draft. Perkins sat out that 1960 season with a broken foot, but played for the Cowboys from 1961 to 1968. On September 24th, 1961, he became the first running back in Cowboys history to rush for more than 100 yards in a game. That was against the Minnesota Vikings. Perkins was inducted into the Cowboys Ring of Honor in 1976 and the Texas Sports Hall of Fame in 2006.
Our final obituary today is that of Bill Urbanic. He's passed away at the age of 75. Urbanic played college football at Ohio State and was a member of the Buckeyes' 1968 National Championship team. He was an assistant football coach as a graduate assistant at Marshall University following the 1970 plane crash that killed most of the football team and the coaches. He then went on to be an assistant coach in college at Northern Illinois and at Wake Forest. Urbanic was also an assistant coach in the pro ranks with the Cincinnati Bengals and the LA/Oakland Raiders in the NFL, the Sacramento Gold Miners of the Canadian Football League, and the New York-New Jersey Hitmen of the 2001 XFL. He also served as a player scout for the Raiders and the Arizona Cardinals. And that's it for this week's obituaries. Anything that we missed? Did you see anything come over on your phone?
No, not really. We are breaking news free as of right now.
Okay. Well, then let's move on to this week's history lesson. And this week, we tell the story of Nile Kinnick, the only Heisman Trophy winner to die while serving in the military. It is common these days for a Heisman Trophy winner to go on to play in the NFL. But that was not always the case. Halfback Jay Berwanger, the very first Heisman winner from the University of Chicago, never played in the NFL. Neither did the second Heisman winner, Larry Kelly, an end from Yale, or the third winner, halfback Clint Frank, also from Yale. The fourth Heisman winner, quarterback Davey O'Brien of TCU, was the first to play in the NFL. He spent 2 seasons with the Philadelphia Eagles in 1939 and 1940. The fifth Heisman Trophy winner was Nile Kinnick, a halfback from Iowa in 1939. Born in Iowa in 1918, Kinnick was the grandson of former Iowa Governor George W. Clark. Kinnick began attending the University of Iowa in 1936 and was the co-captain of the freshman football team. He played on the Iowa varsity squad from 1937 to 1939, and his senior season was one for the record books. Kinnick set 14 school records on the football field during the 1939 season. He threw for 638 yards and 11 touchdowns, ran for 374 yards, and converted 11 of 17 drop kick conversions for 41 points. Kinnick accounted for 107 of the team's 130 points that season, while helping lead the team to a 6-1-1 record. He also had 8 interceptions while playing on defense. At just 5 feet 8 inches tall and 170 pounds, Kinnick was a shifty and elusive runner who earned the nickname the Corn Belt Comet. He was selected in the second round of the 1940 NFL Draft by the Brooklyn Dodgers, but he chose not to pursue a career in the NFL. World War II had just begun when the 1939 college football season began, a fact that was not lost on Kinnick when it came time to accept his Heisman Trophy. In his acceptance speech, Kinnick said that he thanked God that he was warring on the gridirons of the Midwest and not on the battlefields of Europe. After he graduated from Iowa, he stayed on at the school and was an assistant football coach in 1940. He also attended law school there. But a year later, he enlisted in the Naval Air Reserve. He reported to basic training just 3 days before Pearl Harbor was attacked in December of 1941. Kinnick was training to be a fighter pilot and was assigned to an aircraft carrier, the USS Lexington. On June 2, 1943, during a routine training mission off the coast of Venezuela in the Caribbean Sea, his plane developed an oil leak. He was forced to make an emergency water landing in the Gulf of Paria. His body was never found. He was just 24 years old. Kinnick was inducted into the College Football Hall of Fame in 1951. In 1972, the stadium at the University of Iowa was renamed Kinnick Stadium. A few years later, a statue of Kinnick was placed outside the stadium. The statue shows him holding school books, and there is a football helmet at his feet. Today, portions of Nile Kinnick's Heisman Trophy acceptance speech are played before the playing of the national anthem at the stadium that is named after him. College football fans in Iowa will not soon forget the contributions made by Nile Kinnick on and off the football field.
Another history lesson where, never heard this story before. But, I mean, just the stories of Heisman Trophy winners, range all over the map. You've had some really interesting stuff because, I mean, once you get a prestigious award like the Heisman, the rest of your life or what you do with your life, it can get very interesting or very sad. And you've run the gamut in terms of finding these stories. I want to commend you for,
like I said,
digging these up.
He was only the fifth person ever to win the Heisman Trophy winner, and out of those first 5 guys, only one of them went on to the NFL. The other. So, yes, it might have been a prestigious award at the time, but I think the attitude in those days was, I've got better things to do in my life than to go play professional football.
No, that makes sense. It's a totally different world, especially around a world war like that.
Right.
So, I mean, I get that, but I just mean more in context of, now what, the Heisman Trophy's been around for, how many years now?
80-something.
80-something years. So that's 80-something Heisman Trophy winners, all with very, very unique success stories or sad, tragic, stuff happens. Like think about the Express, won the Heisman Trophy and just, passed away before he could play in the NFL. Yep. So just crazy. And, so here's the one guy who passed away while serving, in the military after winning the Heisman. So, just so many stories and the history of the Heisman or what the Heisman's connected to, all these different interesting stories, fascinates me. And so interesting to bring this one.
Yep. Okay. Upcoming events calendar. Sunday, July 3rd, the USFL Championship game in Canton.
Will we be there?
It's still on my list to grab some tickets.
Yeah, you say that every week, and we're going to get closer and closer and be like, nope, never bought tickets.
You know me, I'm a procrastinator. I wait till the last minute. All right, Thursday, August 4th, Pro Football Hall of Fame game in Canton at that same stadium. It's going to be the Jacksonville Jaguars versus the Las Vegas Raiders. And on Thursday, September 8th, the NFL regular season begins with an outstanding game, the Buffalo Bills at the LA Rams.
What
a way to start the year.
What are we, like 89 days away or something now? Something crazy?
Yeah, 90-something. 90 or 89 days, something like that. It's right around the corner. You know, the training camps, they've already had their mini camps.
Yep.
Training camps will be opening, soon, very soon. And hopefully we'll get a chance to go to Lions training camp this year. Get on Hard Knocks.
Get on Hard Knocks with your World of Football shirts.
I'm going to have the World of Football logo shaved into my chest hair.
The fact that you'd even take your shirt off for this event is what concerns me.
No, I'm not going to do that.
Yeah,
it's always so stinking hot at these...
They need better coverage for fans.
Oh yeah, there's. They do have a few tents like behind the stands.
Behind the bleachers. What are you doing?
But it would really be nice if they had some kind of tents over the bleachers or something.
Yeah.
A lot of fans will mill around, but not everybody sits in the stands to watch.
This guy bring a big old hat.
Remember the sunscreen this year. I don't think you used. Oh, your brother didn't wear sunscreen last year, and
2 years ago. I don't think he went this year.
Yeah. So, all right. So that's our upcoming events calendar, and that's everything I've got on today's rundown.
No breaking news as of right now. There's always something that's going to break, like as soon as I click end record. But we'll deal with that next week, I guess.
All right.
Unless it's topical enough to bring out the World of Football overtime. We haven't had to do one of those videos in a little bit.
No, we haven't. All right. Well, that's all the time we've got for this week. If you learned something during this podcast about the incredible amount of diversity that exists in the world of football, then we've done our job. Visit our website at theworldoffootball.com for news, links, upcoming events, videos, and more. Our email address is info@theworldoffootball.com.
You can also like The World of Football on Facebook at TWOF Kalamazoo. You can also find our Twitter account, which is a similar address, at TWOF Kalamazoo. New episodes of this very podcast are posted on Tuesdays and are available on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn, Spotify, iHeartRadio, and YouTube. Our YouTube channel is The World of Football Kalamazoo, so please search for us that way. Go subscribe, rate, review, give us a like, leave a comment on a video, and let us know what you think, and please come be a part of the football conversation.
And remember, folks, some people may love football more than we do, but nobody, and I mean nobody, loves more football than we do. Until next time, I'm Randy Snow.
And I will not give as much effort as he did to say that.
And we'll see you all next week.